Um, so I'm just recording. I don't know if this is gonna be a whole episode. I'm gonna tell a story. Um, People like my stories apparently, so I'll tell you this quick little story. So now my hair is looking all weird. I got like bird hair. I got like parrot hair sometimes. Or I don't know. I mean, if you want to leave a comment on the comment section, whatever. Should I get a haircut? What should I do? I don't know. I got a little bit of a mullet thing going on. That's not what the video is about. That was just me looking at my hair and discussing it to myself. So anyway, that's a little story. This describes my sexual, I don't know, luck or history or whatever. So anyway, I'm at a bar and so I'm sitting there with a friend of mine. He's like a little older than me. Kind of like a sad person a little bit, but nice guy overall. I mean, he's kind of turned out to be kind of a dick. But this girl walks in, and I'm a friend to the end. I'm very loyal, and I'm always trying to help my friends get some pussy. So she starts talking to us, and I'm like, "Oh, have you met my friend?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, well, here you go." So they start talking, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna scoot away," and I scooted away, and I was like, "Oh, hey, bartender, send them 2 shots on me, and try to get them a little liquid courage." So they're talking, and I sprinkle myself in there, try to see how things are going, like watering the pussy seeds, and hopefully it blooms into a beautiful tree, and my friend can fuck it, um, as God intended. So I'm sprinkling it over, and I'm talking. I walk around. I like to just talk to people. I like to experience life. My friend said something very interesting the other day. He said, he's like, you just want to put on a comedy show for random people, and I kind of do. I like to go and just like insert myself into conversations and try to make people laugh, and it brings me joy. So things are going well, I think, and so I'm like, blah blah blah, going through. I keep going back, seeing how things are going, and so I'm talking to. So I'm like, I'm about to leave. It's like closing time, and I'm pretty drunk. So I got an Uber home, and I was like, "Oh, well, y'all have a good night." And then she's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And I was like, "Well, I'm planning on going home." And she goes, "Oh, why?" I was like, "Because it's like almost 2:30. It's closing time, and I don't see anything to keep me here. Not like I was being a dick. I was just like, it's like time to go. Well, when the party's over, I mean, you don't want to be the only one there." And she's like, "Oh, well, let me get your Snapchat." I was like, "Okay, all right." So I gave her my Snapchat. I said goodbye to my friend. I said, "Good luck, buddy." He's like, "I don't know if this is going well." And I was like, "She's been talking to you all night. Go for it, dude. Make your move." And I guess he didn't make his move, whatever. So I get home. I'm like sitting on my couch, and she snaps me. She's like, "Oh, it was so nice meeting you." I said, "Oh, it was nice meeting you too. I'm glad you and my buddy are, you know." She's like, "Oh no, he's not my type." And I go, "Oh, well, that's a shame. He's a good dude." And she's like, "Oh, well, I was trying to like talk to you all night." And I said, "Oh, well, I didn't get that vibe. Sorry." And she's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I kind of wanted to fuck you." And I was like, "Well, that's news to me." I said, "Oh, well, that's." She was kind of cute. I mean, her face was all right. She had a nice body. Um, I hate to talk about women like that, but sometimes. I mean, shit. What am I to judge? I'm a friggin' Sasquatch. But anyway, so I was like, "Oh, well, that's a shame." I was like, "You could have came back to my place." And she's like, "Oh, where do you live?" And I told her where I lived, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm with my sister, and I don't think she'll let me come." And I was just like, "Oh, okay. Well, that sucks." I was like, "Well, you could stab me. We could hang out some other time." She's like, "Oh, well, I really wanted to get some tonight." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well," she's like, "Where do you?" She's like, "Come meet us somewhere and convince my sister to let me come home with you." I was like, "I don't. Why am I convincing your sister? Like, are you not able to make your own decisions?" So I was drunk and I said, "Fuck it." Explicit's our YouTube. So I said, "Okay." So I met them at the McDonald's by my house. I Ubered there. I told Uber, I was like, "Dude, I'm trying, like, I don't know. This seems like a drug deal right now that I'm meeting some random people and we're going to discuss pussy. So I was like, dude, I'll give you a good tip if you just stay here for like 5 minutes, because within 5 minutes I'll know if I'm getting some, and then we'll have to go back to my house. He's like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, I got you, man. So I was like, okay. So I go over, I start talking to them. I'm like joking around, we're all laughing, and I was like, okay, well, you're gonna come back to my place, and the sister's like, she's not going with you. If you want to come with us, you got to come with us. And I was like, okay, well, it sounds like I'm being kidnapped. Fuck it. I'm drunk. My dick's like, dude, we haven't gotten some in a while. Sounds shady, but do it. So I said to the Uber driver, I said, if I go missing, tell my family I love them. He's laughing. I said, okay. I don't know if that was a joke, but, whatever. So I get in the car with them. I'm in the back seat with the girl, the potential sex partner. So we're going down Whole Street. I know that's a street. Well, obviously you knew it was a street when I said Whole Street. But we're going down there, and I'm like, oh, where are we going? And the sister goes, we're going to meet one of my friends. And I was like, okay, well, I might be getting murdered right now, but okay. So we start going down, and we're going like towards Richmond. I'm like, okay. And like I'm in the back seat with the girl, and she's like making out with me, and she starts like touching my dick, and it's feeling great. And then I look up in the rearview mirror, and the sister's like, so it's like, oh boy. And then like the girl I'm with, let's call her, not her real name. I don't even remember her name. We'll call her Summer. So Summer's like putting her hand in my pants, and like, she's like, oh, you got a big dick. I was like, oh, thank you. I don't know. I think it's all right. And I'm just like looking, and the sister's just like mean mugging me, like, oh, okay, all right, and like not saying anything. She's just driving. I'm like, well, this is an awkward situation, because like I was like, okay, but this is like Summer's like really into like, she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to fuck you, yeah. I'm like, girl, chill. Like, pretty sure your sister hears everything you're saying. And then she's like, yeah, who cares? Blah blah blah. She's like, yeah, fuck this shit out of me. I'm like, yeah, I plan on it, but it's like, where are we going? I'm pretty sure I'm getting murdered. And she just keeps like, we're just like doing whatever. And we go to a sketchy neighborhood, and we go, the sister's like, I gotta go into Walmart. I'll be right back. You guys don't fuck in my car. I was like, okay, well, I wasn't planning on that. Sister is not liking me at all, by the way. She is getting horrible vibes. I'm getting horrible vibes from her. She's not liking me. So she goes into Walmart, and like Summer's like, oh, I'm gonna suck your dick. I was like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that in your sister's car. Please don't do that. I was like, first time in my life, I'm like, don't suck my dick. And not like in an ironic way, but I was like, yeah, please don't do that. So she, anyway, pulls my dick out and starts sucking my dick, and I'm like looking. We're in Walmart. And I'm like, oh God, please don't let her sister come out with like a gun or something, because her sister gave me stabby vibes. So she's like sucking my dick. I'm like, oh my God, all right, whatever. This is cool, but also I'm terrified. But my penis doesn't like have terrified vibes. He's like, this is awesome, dude. And I'm like, dude, don't come in her mouth. Just play it cool, dude. Please play it cool. Because if you come in her mouth and her sister comes back and she's like, what the fuck happened? But doing a great job. She's doing the Lord's work. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, time to go. And her sister, she stops. I'm like, oh, your sister's coming in. So I put my dick away, and she's like, gets in the car. She's like, they didn't have what I wanted. She's like, I'm gonna get some McDonald's. You guys want anything? I'm like, I'm good, thank you. And I was like, we just had McDonald's. Okay, whatever. So then she's like, oh, I'm going. You can come with us to my friend. I forgot his name. So we go to this dude's house. It's in the ghetto. No judgment. And he's a big black dude. So I was like, hey man, I was like, nice to meet you. We're like talking. He's like, you want to do some shots? I was like, yeah, let's do some shots. And so we're doing like some shots, and like we're joking around, and like so her sister's like obviously going to this dude's house to fuck him. And he's like, "Hey guys, let's watch a movie or something." I was like, "Okay." It's like we're in like his apartment. His apartment's like a couch and like a TV. Pretty basic, just random dude's house. And we're sitting on the couch, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the bedroom. We'll be right back." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So then she goes to like, she starts sucking my dick again. I'm like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" She's like, "We're fucking." I was like, "Okay, cool," but I didn't get any condoms, so I was like, "We can do like other stuff, but like no sex." She's like, "No, no, no, you're fucking me." I was like, "Oh god." It's like, "What if your sister comes out?" His sister very stabby, and she's like, "Don't worry about it. I do this all the time." I was like, "First off, do it all the time. Definitely don't want to have sex with you without a condom." I'm not pro condom, but I'm also like, don't know you, definitely got to wrap it up. I'm not looking for any souvenirs. And she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like sucking my dick, and I'm like, you in like these? This apartment clearly doesn't have thick walls. It's in a bad neighborhood. They're very. So I hear her sister, and that dude's like fucking like hardcore. I was like, okay, well they're fucking, we can fuck. That's fine. Fuck for fuck. So I'm like, okay. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you." And I was like, "Oh God, I think I'm gonna be a baby daddy." So she's like, we're fucking, and I'm like, she's like, "Hey, you gotta get naked." And I was like, all right, fine. So I'm butt ass naked on this dude's leather couch, ass cheeks sweating up a storm. We're fucking. I like get up to like switch positions because you gotta switch positions sometimes. And as a big dude, I feel like I have to represent other big dudes, so you have to like put more effort into fucking because like down the road she's gonna see another big dude and she's like, "Oh, the last big dude I didn't know how to fuck, so I have to fuck for every big dude ever." So I'm putting in the work. We're doing work, and I'm like, this feels great, but I'm like, no condom, no condom. Oh, this is real bad. And I'm like, do not, little dick. I know this feels good, but don't you come in this woman. So luckily, I was drinking all night, so the no coming was not an issue. And no whiskey dick, which is also win-win. So we're like fucking, and I get up, and I'm like, an imprint of my whole body is on this dude's couch, and it's sweat everywhere. So we are just fucking, and then I'm like, oh god. Every time I hear them get up, I'm like, oh god, I gotta put on all my clothes. I don't know this dude. He's probably gonna be mad that I sweated all over his couch. So finally, we fucked for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. And then I didn't come, which was fine. She was pretty good. But I was like, oh god, good. So I put on my clothes, and then I'm like, oh, it's like I'm fucking about to pass out. It's like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So yeah, I was like, okay. So I throw on all my clothes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and to get some sleep. I'll probably get robbed and murdered, but that's whatever. So I fall asleep. Like 2 seconds, they wake up. They're like, "Hey, time to go." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Nothing happened." They're like, "Okay, we gotta get out of here. We're gonna drop you off on our way home." I said, "Oh, okay, that sounds cool. Thank you." Sister's still like mad as hell. I'm like, "You just got laid. How are you still mad?" But anyway, the dude's super cool. The dude was really cool. I'm like talking to the dude. I get up. I'm like laying on the floor. I get up, sweat imprints still on the couch. I was like, "Don't look at the couch, buddy. I gotta go." My ass cheeks were all over his leather couch, all over it. And so I get up, and we're leaving. And I was like, "Nice meeting you, dude." He's like, "Yeah, good meeting you too, man." So we're leaving, and they're like, "We're dropping you off at where we picked you up." I said, "That's fine." I was like, "It's right by my house. That's cool." I kind of was like, "Don't want you to know where I live. That's cool." Because you're very shady people. And then she's like trying to suck my dick again in the car. I was like, yo, no, 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 no. Now the black dude's with them, which again is a cool dude. I'm pretty sure he knew what I was doing there for, and he knew what I knew what he was there for. So he drops me off. He's like, "Oh, nice meeting you guys." I was like, "Nice meeting you." And she's like, "We can get together for lunch or something." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, 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 sure." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. You're a crazy person." So anyway, oh, by the way, she told me she was not married, and then like before she left, she's like, "Oh, well, if I call you, if you text me, like my husband might see it." I was like, "Ooh." She's like, "Don't worry, I'm getting divorced." I was like, "Yeah, but I feel like you should have told me that before I fucked you. That was weird." Um, So I get out. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, well, I want some McDonald's. And it was like 6 in the morning, and McDonald's was not open, or they were only drive through. And I was like, well, I'm not in a car, so I can't walk up to there. So I run into Walmart, get me some food, get me a lift home, and yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, that was a fun night, but very crazy. And so like maybe like 4 or 5 months go by, and I'm at my local establishment where I like to go, and I get a Snapchat from her, and she goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go have a couple drinks with some friends." I was going on a semi date with this other chick I was trying to have sex with, and she's like, "Oh, well, me and my boyfriend are going out. If we're gonna go to the bar, and if I see you, I'd like to say hello." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool." And so I'm like, "Oh God." I'm like with the girl. I'm like, "Yo, this chick I like banged a couple months ago is like coming up here. So if I start acting weird and try to like go to the other side of the bar, just know that's why, because I don't want to have a conversation with her." So I'm not usually like that, but I've only had like two, three one night stands, and usually I try to like cut bait and switch. Is that what the expression is? But anyway, so she goes, "Yeah, that's fine." So and of course, the minute she comes in the bar, she goes for a beeline to me, and she's with her boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you. I thought I'd never see you again. Blah blah blah. How you been?" I'm like, "Oh, I've been great." Blah blah blah. Just caught up, and she goes, "This is my boyfriend." I was like, "Oh, hey man, nice to meet you." And he's like, "Yeah, man, nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. She talks about you all the time. I'm like, what? It's like one night all the time. I'm not. I wasn't that good. But anyway, so we're talking, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then so I was like, "What's new?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm just getting over this gonorrhea." I was like, I said, "Oh, well, that sucks." And she's like, "Yeah, you know, people fucking lie about having STDs and they don't tell you and they just fuck you." I was like, "It wasn't me." I'm looking at the new girl I'm trying to have sex with. I'm like, I'm clean. I'm forever clean. Doesn't burn when I pee. Please, please. And then she's like, "Yeah, I had it like 2 weeks ago." I was like, "Oh, thank God." She's like, "Oh, thank God you had it 2 weeks ago." And I was just like, "Oh, well, that sucks." And so then we're like talking to them, and she's like giving this girl all the vibes, and I was like, "I gotta go pee." So I went to go pee, and I come back, and the new girl I was trying to have sex with was like, "Yeah, let's go to see that your friend on the other side." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." So we go to the other side. Well, I was like, "Well, I'll catch up with you later." And then the new girl's like, "Yo, that girl is crazy. You had sex with her?" I was like, "Yeah, I regret that." And then she goes, "Oh yeah, she was like talking about all this weird shit about her and her boyfriend." I was like, "Yeah, she's a crazy person." So she's like, "Yeah," she's talking about fucking all these people and all that. And then they come back up to me, and she's like, "Hey, check your Snapchat." And then I was like, "Okay." I look at my Snapchat. She's like, "You want to fuck tonight?" I was like, no, I'm good. You just told me you had gonorrhea. No, not even a blowjob. No." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, my boyfriend's into it. He loves me fucking other guys. He might have to watch." I was like, "Definitely no, 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 no. I'm with her. Like this is my new potential go mate, whatever." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, if that doesn't work out, you could just have sex with me." I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You're like selling like nasty fruit on the side of the road. There's like spots and stuff on it. I'm good." Once again, no souvenirs. I don't need any souvenirs. Let's just have the memories. We don't need any, reminder, to burn when I pee. So, yeah, I was like, "I gotta go. Bye." And she's like, the new girl's like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "Yeah, I attract crazy people." But yeah, she seemed like a nice person. She was a nice person. She was a very nice lady. I'm sure she's doing wonderful with life, and I hope she is. That concludes story time. Let's have a drink this week to crazy women because we love you. Your pussies are great. You're beyond amazing. I love you. A lot of dudes love toxic women, and a lot of chicks love toxic men. Let's just drink to toxic people. Good job, dude. Keep doing you. Um, that's it. I love you. Everyone have a positive week. Bye. Fuck Hitler.